Very good evening to you and welcome to ITV Calendar.
Yes, hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
Last chance appeal. A woman fighting for her life hopes fundraising will allow cancer treatment in Israel as all other avenues dry up.
Oh, Israel is not the best place to go. So yeah, got concerns about Israel. When your life's at risk, you will risk anything.
Election build-up. We're at number 10 Downing Street in Ashfield to gauge voter reaction in the upcoming ballot.
To be honest with you, it doesn't really bother me who gets in. I don't think it's going to affect people up here who does get in down there, if you know what I mean.
Cat's Call, the new rules, which could land you with a £500 bill if your pet isn't microchipped.
And pulling the wool over, the knitters spinning a yarn to support the Lincolnshire and Nottinghamshire Air Ambulance. First this evening, a last-ditch plea to save a woman's life as she battles advanced skin cancer. Esther Allen from Dronfield in North Derbyshire needs to raise £120,000 for treatment that's no longer available here in the UK.
But it means mum of one, Esther, will have to travel to Israel, where the conflict in Gaza is ongoing. The Home Office advises against all but essential travel to Israel. But for Esther, there's now no choice. Here's Martin Fisher.
For Esther Allen, the battle against skin cancer has already been a long one. At 43, she's been fighting stage 4 melanoma for 14 years. She's responded well to treatments available here, but now those aren't working.
Because surgery was no longer an option, because there wasn't just one tumour, it was more than that. So last 2 years I've been on drug treatments, but they aren't working.
Now Esther's only choice is to travel abroad for tumour-infiltrating lymphocyte therapy. Formerly available in Manchester, that's now been stopped, meaning she must head to Israel or the US for treatment, with Israel being 4 times cheaper.
When your life's at risk, you will risk anything. So, yes, I will go to Israel.
So her family have launched a campaign to raise the £120,000 needed to get Esther to Tel Aviv.
We've had times where we've thought, well, am I going to see the next 3 months? But we have done, and unfortunately now we've got to the stage where we've exhausted all the available therapies that are available to us.
While the government advises against all but essential travel to Israel, for Esther, it's now a matter of life or death.
It's not the best place to go. So, yeah, got concerns about Israel. Yeah, but I've got to go.
Esther's trying to get an MRI scan to take with her and wants to set off for Israel in the next few days, using the money already raised to begin her treatment.
This is it. I've got a 14-year-old, and this is what I've got to. I need this. This can save my life and give me a future with my family.
And potentially cure you, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Esther's family have already been overwhelmed by the support she's got, but more money needs to be raised and quickly for the treatment that could save Esther's life. Martin Fisher, ITV News in Dronfield.
And let's hope that Esther manages to raise that money.
Now, in other news tonight, an inquest jury has concluded a baby boy given 10 times the normal dosage of antibiotics would probably have survived had he been treated differently.
Last year, 6-month-old Hunter Martin was rushed to Chesterfield Royal Hospital with suspected chickenpox, but was later diagnosed with sepsis and Group A streptococcal disease. He died 2 days later after suffering a cardiac arrest. An inquest heard hospital staff also gave Hunter 5 excess doses of an antibiotic, but it was found there was no medical evidence that this contributed to Hunter's death.
The jury also concluded there was insufficient evidence that failure to escalate critical care contributed to Hunter's death. His parents say the last 15 months has been a devastating time. Chesterfield Royal Hospital's NHS Trust has admitted failings over the baby's care.
Experience of our lives, and I'm quite confident in the fact that we'll never experience anything as bad as that, because it was just horrendous. And this is the rest of our lives. This is consoling our 6-year-old because he's missing his brother, and he's scared that something's going to happen to his unborn baby brother, and we're panicking over a cold, and birthdays and Christmases are spent next to his graveside and decorating his grave, and this won't be it for us. This will be the rest of our lives.
It's a very upsetting story. A young family of 5 in Lincolnshire have been left temporarily homeless after a fire ripped through their house. 6 fire crews were called yesterday afternoon to the blaze on Buckingham Drive in Chapel St Leonard. The fire started in the garden of a neighbouring property and spread to a total of 6 houses. No one was hurt, but 2 houses were destroyed, including that of the family, which has 3 children under the age of 8.
This is Monday night's calendar. Thanks for being with us. Still to come, Knit Me Baby one more time. The air ambulance supporters who've yarn-bombed the region, all in support of a life-saving charity.
And after scattered showers have kept us on our toes to start the week, find out if things are expected to improve. I've got the full forecast for you shortly.
When Lee Anderson defected from the Conservatives to become Reform UK's only Member of Parliament back in March, he declined to hold a by-election.
Little did he know that his constituents will be going to the polls soon enough in just 24 days.
Well, over that time, we're profiling a number of key constituencies across the Calendar region. Tonight, it's Ashfield in North Nottinghamshire, where our political correspondent, Charanpreet Kera, has been talking to voters.
The fight to take charge of Downing Street will be won or lost on streets around the country, including this Downing Street in Sutton in Ashfield, where I meet some of the voters who'll pick the winner. A short back and sides for Dan, but which side will he pick on the 4th of July?
Keir Starmer.
Really?
Yeah, I reckon so, yeah.
But some people have been saying that Labour aren't doing enough to commit to policies. What do you think of that?
To be fair, who's doing great?
A few doors down, Resgar doesn't think politics is going great either. Most parties launch their manifestos this week, but he fears they'll put the brakes on as soon as the campaign is over.
Before they come on power, they advertise, they manifest, they say, oh, we can do this, we can do that, we're going to create jobs or cutting taxes. But once they come on power, that's it. Just like Brexit, promised a lot of things, but nothing happened.
Just across the road, a stone's throw from Resgar's workshop, the seat of power itself. This is 10 Downing Street. There's actually another one of these. It's about 120 miles south of here in London. The incumbent in Ashfield, Lee Anderson, used to be in and out of the other Downing Street when he was a Conservative minister. Then he quit and went to Reform UK. Now that's raised some eyebrows because well before all of that, he was actually a Labour councillor. So you work on Downing Street?
I do.
Who do you want to work on Downing Street in London?
I haven't made my mind up yet.
Lee Anderson.
Really?
Yeah.
As Prime Minister?
Yeah, because I believe that he's true to his word.
True to his word, even though he's moved party 3 times.
But he's still true to his word.
Not entirely happy with the Labour Party as it stands. I'm significantly less happy with the Conservative Party.
A range of views from the voters we came across, but the most common view of all, scepticism that any politician can change things here. What's it like living on number 10 Downing Street?
Comical, that's what I'm going to say.
Who would you want to get the keys to the other 10 Downing Street?
I'm not very political. If I was to ask my mates of my age, no one would really have a clue what we're going on about, and they'll just say I'm not really bothered.
Right, Stuart, so this is number 8 Downing Street.
8 Downing Street. This is the living room of 8 Downing Street. Identical to next door. I don't think you'll ever find Prime Minister living in this. To be honest with you, it doesn't really bother me who gets in. I don't think it's going to affect people up here who does get in down there.
Politics clearly isn't everyone's cup of tea here, but that doesn't mean they don't want to see things change. At the bottom of the street, our final stop. Mr. John Salon has been on Downing Street for 50 years.
We've been doing this for a lot of years, haven't we?
When it comes to consistency, that's a cut above politicians.
Here in Ashfield, what do you think people are most concerned about?
Cost of living, I would say. Cost of living, NHS, state of the roads.
Doris has changed her hairstyle a few times over the decades, but she hasn't changed who she votes for.
So you're convinced that the Conservatives would be the best for after the election, and why is that?
Is it a habit? Now, after all these years, I don't know.
From potholes to payslips, voters in Ashfield have just a few weeks to decide whether to trust what they know or put their faith in new management.
So there you go, lots of different views on Downing Street, Ashfield. Well, Sharon Preet joins us in the studio now. Did you get any kind of sense of which way the polls might be heading then?
Lara, it's really hard to tell. You know, when we go to places like Ashfield, we walk the streets, we talk to plenty of people, but it's by no means a survey of all the people who live in that constituency. You know, the name Lee Anderson was coming up a lot, but that's very much because he's a vocal politician. He's recognisable to the people in Ashfield. That comes in handy at a time when a lot of people are disengaged from politics. The question now is he well known enough that people would vote for him even though he switched to this newer party, Reform UK? Now, Ashfield is traditionally a red wall seat after 1979 until 2019. It was Labour. The Conservatives won it in 2019 and then it of course, switch to Reform. So the question now is, which way will it go when so many voters are undecided?
Yes, and how are politicians going to win over those undecided voters?
Well, Ian, it's manifesto week, so hopefully this week we'll hear a little bit more about policy and voters will be able to make their minds up on that basis. Now, the Liberal Democrats started off by launching their manifesto today. Ed Davey made it clear that that was his opportunity to set his sights on our region.
There are parts of Greater Manchester, rural Mid Wales, parts of Scotland we're going to take on the SNP, parts of Yorkshire. You know, we actually are the only ones who can beat the Conservatives in so many seats.
Now, a few key points of policy that were part of that launch. You heard Rezgar in my report talk about Brexit. Not many politicians are keen to talk about Brexit right now, but the Liberal Democrats are. They say they want to rejoin the single market. Then there's trains. They say they'll improve trains by reinvigorating Northern Powerhouse Rail, which would improve links to Sheffield and Hull. And the big one is proportional representation. They say they'd change from the current system that we have, first past the post, to proportional representation, which would mean Sheffield, Hallam, seats like that they already have their sights on, more of a chance. We'll be looking at all the other parties when they launch their manifestos.
OK, Sharon Preet.
Do you know what I want to know? What? Is there a Downing Street cat?
Oh,
in Ashfield.
I bet there is.
Yeah.
Ah, lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Now, here's a full list of the candidates, by the way, who are standing for the Ashfield constituency. In just 3 weeks and 3 days until polling day, of course, on Thursday, July the 4th, and polling stations will be open from 7 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the evening. Remember that you will need to take photo ID with you on the day, and if you're not registered to vote, you have until the 18th of June to do so. Well, next to a plea to cat owners who could fall foul of a new rule which comes into effect today.
Yes, and the best way to avoid a £500 fine, well, get your pet microchipped. Are yours?
Yes, they are. Actually, my cats are rescue cats, so they came already microchipped, which is good. Those who petitioned for the change in the law to make this enforceable are hoping it'll help more lost cats reunite with their owners and reduce the huge numbers which need to be rehomed. Amrit Birdie has more.
At this cat rescue centre in Mansfield, around half of the cats came in without microchips. For those working at the centre, it can create all sorts of problems.
It's really difficult to reunite lost cats without a microchip because we simply don't have a way of contacting the owner. So what we have to typically do is put adverts out on social media or look on lost and found registers, and if we don't have that ability, then unfortunately that cat is in a position where we have to rehome it.
From the 10th of June in England, the law is changing, so it's compulsory to microchip your cat by the time they're 20 weeks old. This includes indoor-only cats, with the only exception being feral cats. The microchip must be registered and contain the owner's most up-to-date contact information. And if your cat is found without a microchip, you could face a fine of up to £500. It's been the law since 2016 in England for dogs to be microchipped, and now cats are catching up. If you don't microchip your cat, you could face a hefty fine. But those who've campaigned for this law change for years say it's in everyone's best interest to get your cat chipped.
Dogs are actually twice as likely to be reunited if they are microchipped than if they aren't. So we really know that microchipping works. It's taken us a little bit of time for cats to be able to catch up. In terms of the cost, it costs between around £20 to £30 for a cat to be microchipped.
Challenging some of the misconceptions around microchipping has also been a big part of the campaign.
The microchip, which is only about the size of a grain of rice, is in this needle here, and this has been implanted into Dory's neck, and each microchip comes with a individual 15-digit number, and if we just look at the scanner, that's picking up Dory's number. So that number is then placed into a database, so if Dory goes missing, we've got access to the website and we can check to see where she lives, and we can call her owners and we can reunite her.
If you do miss the 10th of June deadline, you have up to 21 days to microchip your cat. So if they do go missing, there's a good chance they'll find their way back home. Amrit Birdie, ITV News.
Adorable. Yeah, we had, one of our cats went missing all day yesterday. We were really worried, but turned up at 10 o'clock at the back door as though nothing had happened.
Ready for some food, no doubt.
Yeah.
Now then, rugby league fans from across the country paid tribute to Rob Burrow over the weekend following the death of the former Leeds Rhinos staff from motor neuron disease last Sunday.
So I'm pleased now ask you for a minute's applause, a moment to celebrate the life of Rob Burrow.
Ahead of the whole 10K, runners observed a minute's applause in Rob's memory. And at Wembley, there was a minute's silence ahead of both the men's and women's Challenge Cup final, and applause in the 7th minute.
It was amazing to know this northern working class sport again come together in the deepest of adversities, and every morning, you know, when I get up and I've got a little job role to play in the world, then I take a little bit of that courage Rob's left behind, and I think all those people that was part of that Wembley Challenge Cup finals, plural, and part of Rugby League will all continue to do the same.
Now, with the Olympic Games in Paris getting underway in just over 6 weeks' time, athletes from our region are either fine-tuning their preparations or hoping to earn a late call-up to Team GB.
One of those is sprinter Louis Hinchliffe from Sheffield, who on Saturday became the first European to win the prestigious American College NCAA title for the 100 metres. Louis, who studies at the University of Houston, ran a time of 9.95 seconds, which is the 6th fastest of any British sprinter.
Meanwhile, Sheffield's Kelly Horger-Thackeray won relay gold and individual bronze in the half marathon at the European Championships in Rome. Kelly has already been selected to run the marathon for Team GB at the Olympics.
Well done to them. Now, finally tonight, we all like a bit of a yarn, don't we? Especially you.
Oh, good tale.
Yeah. Well, we've got one now, and it involves a lot of wool to help one of our region's air ambulance services.
So crafters from across Lincolnshire and Nottinghamshire have been stitching and purling to create bright yellow helicopters and post box toppers to help spread the word of the joint airborne service, which covers both counties.
It's all part of the 30th anniversary celebrations. Emma Haywood has more from the Air Ambulance headquarters near Waddington.
Well, I'm inside the hangar for the Links and Notts Air Ambulance. Now, just as we're arriving here, the helicopter went out on an emergency. It is always ready to react, and it is marking its 30th anniversary. And the charity which runs it keeps it up in the skies above Lincolnshire and Nottinghamshire, and marking that birthday in several different ways. One way is by asking the community to create hundreds of knitted helicopters or crochet them. And I've been out to meet some of those involved.
Well, I think it's something that we'd all love to support. I just mentioned it to the ladies in the group and they immediately all said, yeah, no, that's great, we'll get involved. And they gave us a pattern to follow, so we've done knitted ones and crocheted ones. So as well as the topper, we've got them in the local shops and then on the village signs as well. So I think everybody just really wants to support the air ambulance.
Well, Kate Kerrigan is the volunteer manager here at the Links and Knots Air Ambulance. Kate, tell me more about this project.
So, as you've rightly said, it's to mark our 30th anniversary. We were really excited and thinking about different ways to get volunteers involved. The usual way that people support here is by attending events or going to talks or even here at head office. And I was really keen to find a different way for people to be able to help from the comfort of their own homes.
And I've been out to some of the villages, Cranwell and Sturton by Stow, and some of the things are really elaborate, aren't they?
They're absolutely amazing. The postbox toppers, the yarn bombing that's been taking part, it's absolutely fantastic. It's beyond our wildest dreams. It's absolutely amazing.
And as a charity, you get no funding, so any kind of discussion about the air ambulance really gets people talking about the work you do.
Absolutely. So we need to raise £13 million this year, and this campaign is all about raising awareness of Links and Knots Air Ambulance, and hopefully getting out and about. People will be able to spot the yarn bombing, spot the toppers. There's a little QR code on all of the creations, and we're asking people to scan the code, take a quick picture and send it in to us. We've got a map then on the website that's showing exactly where all these creations are. We're hoping it will continue right the way through to the beginning of September, which is National Air Ambulance Week. So there'll be lots of activity over the school holidays, hopefully lots of young people getting involved in spotting the creations as well.
Well, Kate, thank you very much for talking to us. And if you're around here, do look out for those little yellow helicopters because they really do look fantastic.
They certainly do, and easy to spot as well.
They certainly do. I hope it doesn't rain, though. We don't want them getting wet, do we? Let's find out. Here's Lucy with the forecast.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello to you again, a very good evening. We've seen that classic combination of sunshine and scattered showers as we've rolled into a new week. Some of the showers have really kept us on our toes. Heavy, prolonged in places, rolling through at quite a pace in brisk winds, and a similar theme for the time being, as well as it staying quite cool for the time of year. Temperatures a little lower than we'd like for the start of June. This is the earlier satellite and radar picture. For all of Yorkshire, we've been in the same boat today as showers have been drifting their way from north to south in keen and at times blustery northerly winds, enhancing the cool feel. A lot of cloud and a serious lack of sunshine, it has to be said. Just slithers of brighter sky to end the day. For most of us, it's looking a little soggy this evening with further showers and longer downpours rolling their way in on those keen northerly winds. Most of the showers kept around those coastlines into the new day. For the rest of us, a lot of cloud cover into Tuesday morning. Temperatures dip a few degrees, so feeling almost autumnal into tomorrow morning. That cool feel enhanced by the breeze, the cloud cover and the low temperatures initially. And as we head through the morning, trying to perk up a touch with some cheerful sunshine before you've guessed it, further showers and longer downpours get going once more. They'll be rolling through thick and fast on a keen northerly wind once more, very much like today. Some of these will be intense and prolonged, but moving through swiftly in the breeze. In slithers of sunshine, temperatures around about 14 or 15 degrees, but all in all a little disappointing. Those temperatures just a little stingy given the time of year. As for the next day or so, we keep some spells of sunshine, lovely long light evenings this time of year, but then rain heads in through the latter stages of Thursday into Friday and temperatures on the low side for the time of year again.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
A little uncomfortable in the next few days for hay fever sufferers. Grass pollen season in full swing. High levels expected even with blustery showers in the next 24 hours, lowering to moderate come the latter stages of the week.
Well, Lucy's absolutely right. It is cooler, isn't it? You can feel it.
Yeah, and she's right about the pollen too, because lots of people complaining about having itchy eyes and really itchy noses.
Don't go into too much detail.
No, horrible though, isn't it? Horrible.
Thanks very much for watching.
Yes.
Charlene White is next.
I'll see you later for our late bulletin. Good night.
Bye-bye.